So in ships at sea you have different types of fishing, and in this video we're going to be going through if you're going to make more money and like basically just in general which is better between net fishing and longline fishing. So we have the Conquest, which is the tier 2 ship, and the reason we have this is because supported rigging is longline and net fishing. You can do longline in the tier 1 boats, but when it comes to net fishing this is the earliest you'll be able to do it. And this boat is going to cost you just under 1.5 million. And if we go to the rigs, we currently have it set up for net fishing, which doesn't actually require any bait. Your long lines do, your nets don't. So with this setup, I've got all the upgrades like the engine and everything like that. What we're going to do is head out to sea and we're going to do some net fishing first. Then we'll come back, change over the rig, and I'll show you long line. And with this ship, because it's tier 2, it's a lot bigger than the tier 1s. They don't dock it at the jetty, it's all the way along here. So jumping aboard, you're going to see you've got this like sort of system that does all of the net stuff. So if we mount the hauler, that's going to give you this little control panel. And in this cap, you can abort the net, which is actually going to happen quite often. Like you're going to need to use this quite often. And then down here you've got two little cogs and you can decrease or increase the speed. Then this is to start your hauling. And in order to actually haul anything in, you need to close this hatch. So if this is up, you cannot start the haul and bring the net in. And then all of your nets are going to sit here. You'll need to buy the nets from the fishery, so you can do that at Rost. So once you've got your nets in place, you are ready to go. You've also got a gutting table over here, because on the tier 2 you need to gut the fish. So what we're going to do is come into here, we're going to start driving the boat. We are going to undock and back up. Then we're going to get this bad boy turned around. This one is not too difficult to control, and with the upgrades and everything like that you're going to go around 16 knots. So what we're going to do is we are going to plot a route. If my route system doesn't want to work, that's fine. We're going to come back, we're going to come down to this fish habitat. At the moment, all of the habitats are quite low on fish. And that's probably because of the time of year. We're in the middle of July at the moment. And when it comes to net fishing, you should keep your ship going, I'm going to say around somewhere between 30 and 50% throttle whilst you're dropping your nets. You don't have to, you can go any speed you want, but that's what I've been doing for the net fishing. And long line, when we get there and I show you that part, it's a little bit different. But what we're going to do is get down to this fish habitat and we're going to start dropping our nets the moment we enter the habitat. And I'll do the same thing, like I'll try and make the experience as close, like I'll make them really similar, as close to each other as I possibly can, so that it's a fair sort of challenge between the two. And I'm only going to be doing 2 nets and 2 long lines. I'm using the biggest nets, like the longest nets I can, and I'll also be using the buckets with the most amount of hooks for long line fishing that I can. So we have just entered the fish habitat. I'm going to go to around 50% throttle. We're going to come out of the back and we're going to prepare the net casting. We are going to cast the first net, and these don't take that long to cast. But that's the first one done, and then I'll come over this side, and once we are able to, we're going to do the same thing again. And when these have both deployed, what we're going to do is, you'll see the boys out there now, we are going to come in here, we're going to cut the throttle, and you'll see both of our nets behind us. And now what we're going to do is we are going to rest for around 13 hours. If I come out of this quickly, if you're ever stuck, if you go to tab, go to help. If you go to fishing, you're going to see net. And it tells you a net should be left to soak in the water for about 12 to 17 hours to get the best fishing results. It also explains that you don't need bait with them or anything like that. So if we rest, I'm going to go around 13, like we'll go 13.1 hours. And I mean, it's now dark, but that is fine. Because what we can do is we should still be able to see our boys. If I just cut the engine quick, I'm going to turn, where are our lights? We're going to turn searchlight, work lights, interior lights, and lanterns are already on. So if we turn around and look for our boys. So I managed to find one of them. It's going to be tough to show you this. Do you know what? Actually, I'm not going to do it at night time. We're going to rest when it lets us. We'll go for maybe another 2.5 hours, and it's still pitch black. We'll go over 17 hours. So there we go. It's not perfect, but it's a lot easier to see now. And these have been out for around 19, 20 hours. So they say optimal is between 12 and 17. But it is fine to go longer with them. And what you want to do on the right side of your ship is get your buoy lined up. And then if it doesn't, I'm going to have to back up a little bit. If it doesn't go underneath your boat, then what we're going to do is come out here very quickly, close the hatch. And when it goes green, right now we can start hauling. And if we turn up the speed to 3, we're going to start retrieving our net. And this is where the disappointment happens, because you'll see we've got a gigantic fish there. What we need to do is get out our hook. I'll show you all of this stuff in the shop in a moment. I completely forgot to tell you about the hook. But what we need to do is untangle the fish, and we need to pick it up and put it in the box. Then you need to start hauling again. And this is where the problems happen, because we have a big fish, and you'll see we need to grab that ball so that we can store the fish. This fish is actually easier, but some of the other big fish, I'm not sure if we will catch any, but some of them, it's almost impossible to grab that ball. I think it might be pollock or haddock, I'm not entirely sure. But you'll see here, this is exactly what I mean. The ball that you need to grab is underneath the table. I mean, we might be able to just, I think we just got it. No, haven't even got it. And luckily, after spamming it, I've got it for half a fish. I don't know what's going on, but I can start the hauler again. Okay, we've got half a fish flapping around. And if I store that one, that was nice and easy. Here comes another. No, this one's like a medium sort of size. The ball's massive. Nice and easy. And this is potentially the last one. So grab that one, store it, and then we haul the rest of the net. Then luckily that fish disappears as well. And so one thing I will say about net fishing is the XP is incredible. Every time you retrieve a net fully, it's like 500 XP. And sometimes it doesn't take that long. It all depends on the size of the fish. If you're getting big fish, you're going to have a hard time. But what we're going to do now is go to the second net. And we're going to do the same thing again. So close the hatch. Make sure the buoy's within that like semicircle. Then you want to just start hauling. Take all the spikes out. Grab the ball. Store the fish. And just turn the machine on again. I think there's a big fish coming up, which might be a struggle. So if we start it. No, there's another small one. And if we start the machine again, we went quite a long time with that one there, which means we might get less fish. Oh, and here comes a big one, which I might not be able to get. I believe this is the one that... Yeah, see, the ball just sits underneath. You have to wait for a big wave to come along and that ball to bounce. I'm going to abort this net, because otherwise I could potentially be sitting here for 10 minutes waiting for this ball to like come up and clip through the table. You can't grab it while it's underneath. I've tried all the zooming in, looking at it, trying to get it like pinpointed, and just nothing works. It has to be above the table, and this fish might never ever get that ball on its tail above the table. So this is where the cap comes in. We're going to open it, we're going to abort that net, that closes, we're going to open the hatch, and that's us done with our 2 nets. If we go to our inventory, you're going to see how depressing it is. We got 2 pollock, 2 cod, 3 haddock, 2 more pollock of a different size, and 2 haddock of a different size. So now what we're going to do is come back to the boat. We're going to start driving. And I wish I could show you something better than what I've just shown you. But net fishing in this game, at least on the version that I'm currently playing, is not the best at all. I was really disappointed. I got the boat, I was all excited. I bought, because you can only have 10 of any, rigging system. So basically, you can have 10 nets. And I got all 10 nets. I went over to the habitat over here. Haddock was at 22% or something. I went over, dropped all my nets, and then found out that the issue of the ball at the end of the tail not coming through the table. I realised that I had to have bought 70% of the net, so 7 out of the 10. And it was a really, really bad haul. But I've set this route because I'm going to turn on autopilot, put it into nav mode. I'm going to put the throttle to around, 56% or whatever. We're going to come out of the driving seat, and we're now going to gut these fish. So this is decent. You just start here, hold down your left mouse button, go along that line as straight as you can, let go at the end. Then you're going to get your gutting quality at the top left and everything. So all we've got to do is gut all of these fish. And then we're going to take them to the fishery in Rost. So we've made it back to Rost. We gutted all the fish. If we come to the boat, we've got 11 fish in total. So we've got 4 haddock, 2 different sizes. We've got 5 haddock, sorry. 4 pollock, 2 different sizes, and 2 cod. So if we come over to the fishery, this will be where you buy your nets as well. I'll show you that quickly. So if you come into the screen, you go to purchase gear, you got the net fish in there. I've got the 250 meter ones, I've got 10 of them. But if we now go to sell fish, you're going to see them 2 nets, that amount of time we spent out at sea and gutting the fish, we got 4 grand. And I mean, they're of the highest quality. Granted, the habitats I'm going to have a low percentage of fish there, but I don't think that matters too much. And not only that, I'm having to abort a lot of my nets because the big fish just don't want to play ball, literally, when it comes to the ball on their tails. So I'm going to sell that for 4 grand, and I want to show you something quickly. If we go to my inventory and I press number 9, I get out my jigger. If I come and stand over here, remember we got 4 grand for them 2 nets that we tried hauling. We were successful with one, failed with the other. If I lower this into the water, once we've hit the seabed, we start clicking when the dot goes green on the right hand side. And after we've done the amount of successful hits that it tells us to do in the top left, we start reeling when there's a lot of slack, so when it spins fast. When it's spinning slowly, you don't reel. And eventually, after a couple of minutes, or not even minutes, after a few seconds, we're going to get this fish to the surface. And this one looks decent. So we're going to put that in our pocket, basically. Go to our inventory. We've got a 51 kilo halibut. So if we come over to the fishery now, we are going to have a look at how much that's worth. And would you look at that? That's 6 grand for one fish. So we've just made more money by standing at Rost, dropping a hand jigger into the water and pulling out a fish. We made 50% extra than what we did using those nets. So net fishing, it's awful. But now, still at Rost, if we quickly go to the shop, I want to show you the hook. Not just the longline hook, I want to show you the net hook as well. They're very, very cheap, but you need to buy them in order to do the fishing. And it's something I forgot to show you earlier. So under the tools, if you've got the yarn hook, it's $2.95. The hand jigger, $1.49. Don't need to buy a boat or anything. You can make decent money with it. And then you've got the hook. This is required for longline fishing. And this is going to cost you $3.95. Not only that, I'm not sure when you guys are seeing this video, but they are adding upgradable hooks into the game. So when you see this video, there is a chance you can upgrade your hooks and stuff. They're doing a lot of work on this game. But now, if we go back into the shipyard, we're going to de-rig the net fishing. We're going to buy the longline stuff. And we're going to leave that rigged. It looks a lot simpler. There's a lot more space on the boat. And we've still got all the upgrades and everything. So now we're going to go buy our long lines. So leaving the shipyard is all the way back down to the fishery. And this time when we get to the fishery, we go into purchase gear. And we're going to go long line in. So what I recommend doing is if you click the plus on any of these, you'll see the max you can have. Because When you're in the tier 1 boat doing longline, you can't have the 1,000 or the 2,500 hooks. You have to get the 500s or the 250s. Whereas we can get 10 of the 2,500 hooks. If we go to 11, it says incompatible rigging on the active boat, item limit exceeded. We can get 10 of these 2,500 hooks, and it's going to cost $250,000. But then we also need to buy bait. So if I go to, first if I go tab, I go to the help section, I go fishing, I then go, or we should go to the map first, but basically you got fish types. It shows you what you can catch if you're using jigger, longline or net. So if we go to the map, we're going to go back down to that habitat, and we're going to see there's cod, haddock, pollock and catfish. The highest percentage is haddock at the moment, 13%. So what I'm going to do is go back to that. Can we catch haddock? If we go fish types, haddock, jigger, longline and net, we can. So I'm going to target haddock. So in here, go to purchase bait, and then you're looking at the end of the description. So that's best for catching cod. Then you've got redfish there, halibut there, and mackerel is good for haddock. You can carry 100 of these 20 kilo bait blocks. So I'm going to buy a bunch because I really enjoy longline fishing anyway. If I just buy 50 for now, I think I've already got some on me as well. They're $2,000 each, so that's $100,000 I'm spending. And if we go to inventory, you'll see, oh, I've got 53 mackerel ones on me. So what we're going to do is get onto our boat, and we are going to start baiting up our buckets. So if we board the boat, at the back you're going to have all of your buckets. And what you need to do is find the number, if you've got it in a quick slot. So 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, hopefully 0. That should be mackerel. So if we keep, yeah, it's come out of the inventory. So 0 is mackerel. So just hold E and you'll start placing the bait. I don't know how many this uses. We had 53, so we'll see how many we've got after we've done this. And it's also looking like it might be multiple baits per bucket because there are 2,500 hooks. So what you could do, because each of these bags is doing 1,000 hooks, you could buy the 10 kilo bait blocks as well if you want to save a bit of money. I don't think you'll need to though. So what we're doing is just finishing these up, and it's 3 packs of bait each one. Or maybe a refund some of the bait if you overuse it. But that's all 10 of our buckets baited up. So if we chuck one onto there, what we're now going to do, look how much more space you get with longline fishing as well. We are now going to, that's what the hook's for, to start hauling it in. We are going to start driving our boat. We're going to go back down to the exact same spot. And now when it comes to longline, what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing. We're going to drop 2 long lines. And because they are 2,500 hooks, I believe it's 1 meter, like a 1 meter gap between each one. That is actually 10 times longer, if I remember correctly, than the nets we deploy. So I am going to say we need to try and earn 10 times as much money, which means I'm going to say let's try and earn 50 grand from longline fishing. If we can, that's going to mean that longline fishing is better for making money. We are now in the fish habitat. I'm going to jump out and we're going to start casting the longline. So yeah, this has got to drop 2,510 meters. So what I'm going to do with this is once this one's dropped, I'm going to drop the other one from this one's end point coming back to its starting point, so that we're back where we started from, and I'm not really far away from Rost, because it does take a long time to travel in this game. And I'm also going to say with net fishing, the XP, if you're successful with retrieving your net, the XP is really good. You'll always keep the nets, you'll always keep the buckets. So after we're done with the long line, the only thing we need to do is buy more bait. But the XP is really good for net fishing. It's awful with long line. As far as I'm aware on this boat, on Flippy, per long line it's 50 XP. And obviously we've got 500 from the net. So I'll let you guys know if we make a big jump or not when we are done with these ones. So when I say 2,500 meters is quite far, we started our long line up here. We've only just finished down here. So they're pretty big. And I think I did that pretty good. We've got a buoy there, which is our first long line. And then we've got one just there, which is our second. So what we're going to do now we have stopped is we've only deployed 2. We have 10 on board. And I mean, it takes a few minutes to drop each one. But we're now going to rest for around 19 to 20 hours. So, I don't know, the 19.3 hours. I think that's going to be fine. And then what we're going to do is we are going to take control of our ship again. And then it's the exact same thing. Where's... Wait, we're not directly underneath. That's not underneath us, no. It's back here a little bit. What we're going to do is we are going to get the boys on the right-hand side of the boat. So you'll see that red semicircle. It works exactly the same way net fishing does, except you need the hook. And then you press start hauling. So as soon as the buoy enters that semicircle, you press start hauling. But you need to have your hook in your hand, otherwise it won't let you start. And then all you do is when the fish come up, you just repeatedly smack around their mouth and the hook sort of area, and you bring them on board. And realistically, you want 5 hooks to be full up with fish. It doesn't matter if there are empty hooks. It doesn't decrease the amount of fish you're getting by that much. But here comes fish number 3, and sometimes your line is going to do some weird things, like go in front of your boat, behind your boat. Unfortunately, at this current time, we can't anchor down. So I don't know if here I'm actually going to miss one. Luckily, I got that one. We should have one more come up, and then the line will like sort of fully retract. So there we go. The last one is an empty hook. So we wait for that to come in, and then we go over and grab our second long line. So once that comes up, the line comes in. We can put our hook away, and we move over to the second one, which is just over there to our left. So, same thing again. You want your hook in your hand. You want the buoy in the circle. Start hauling, and let's hook these fish. Fingers crossed we can get a full line. I mean, I don't think it matters too much. This is an absolute beast. Look at the size of you. Welcome aboard. Number 4 comes up with another monster on it. And then we've got one more hook. Please don't be empty. Don't have it so the last ones are empty on both. No, there is a fish. And it's another decent size. So remember, all in all, with the net fishing, we caught 11 fish. Let's have a look at how many fish we caught with Longline. And it was the exact same. So, if anything, because of the length of the Longline buckets compared to the nets, we should be looking at 10 times. So, 110 fish. Let's go into our boat inventory. And we've got 141 catfish there, 746 there, over 1,000 pollock there, over 1,000 haddock there. We only got 27 cod, but look at the weights of them as well. So, we've got nearly 7 tons of haddock. We've got, about 5 tons of catfish. So what we're going to do is we are going to... I don't know why all of the long lines are separate. What we're going to do is we are going to set an autopilot route back up to Rost. But I'm going to put it on a very, very slow throttle because I've now got to gut all of these, which might actually take a while because we have more than 11 fish. So I've turned nav mode on. I'll just sit at 25%. I think that's good enough. And if we come out, we got the fish. So it's saying ungutted 0. Let's have a look. If we start the gutting. And yeah, this might be different when you guys play, depending on when you see this video. Because there's going to be upgradable hooks and upgradable knives. So ungutted, we have 4.5 tons. But luckily, we don't have to do every single fish. It does a lot of kilos in one hit. But all you're doing is put your circle, like your reticle, in the orange circle. And then try and drag a nice straight line, that one's a bit wonky, into the yellow one. And that's going to get your gutting quality. That was quite straight, although we did only get 1 star. If we go for this one, bit wonky. 1 star again. This one's gigantic. Try and keep it as straight as you can. Obviously, we're moving. Still got 5 star. And finally, I'm done gutting all that fish. I probably had to sit there and do 100 fish or something crazy. There were a lot that I had to do. And I mean, you'll see how long it took. We're going 3.5 knots. And we've made it from here up to where we are now. But now that we are paying attention, we've got no more fish to gut. If I just double check, yeah, there's no fresh fish in there. And if we have a look, I had to gut around 100. It was something crazy what I had to do. I don't know why there's so many different products. But we have, yeah, literally thousands of fish on board. So I don't mind having to gut that many. And with the net fishing, we earned, what was it, 4 grand? I think what I'll do is I'll be nice. I'll round it up to 10,000. And then let's say we have to get 10 times as much. So let's not even go 100,000. Let's just say we need to get 150,000 krone from this haul. Let's dock in a moment, go to the fishery and see how much we earn. And we did get XP, by the way. I think it was around 500 a Longline. I'm pretty sure we were on 2.7 thousand. We're now on 3.7. So Flippy's not that good for XP with Longline fishing, but the Conquest Tier 2 is decent. I'm not even sure if it's dropping the long lines. It might be gutting the fish. I totally forgot to pay attention. So I spent quite a bit more money buying the equipment as well. But let's just say, even if we say I spent 100 grand buying the nets and everything. Let me check the nets quick. So the 250 meter nets were 34.50 each, and I bought 10 of them, so 35 grand. We lost 31,000. When it comes to the long lines, they were, what, I bought 10 of them, so it was 250,000. And if we now go to the sell fish tab, we're looking for anything over 150,000. I'm actually really trying to give the net fishing a chance, because we only got 4 grand from it. I've rounded it up to 10,000. Then multiplied it by 15 when our long lines are only 10 times longer. But if you go to sell fish, you're going to see that's 483,000 we got from 2 of those long lines. And I'm actually going to say that's quite a bad haul. You need to remember the percentages that fish habitat are really, really low. What we're going to do is sell these. We got around 500,000. We were expecting to get about 150,000. No, well, that was our target. We tripled it. So yeah, longline fishing is by far, and I mean by far, the better choice. If you're going to go net fishing or longline, go longline. Just ignore net fishing. It needs major changes. I think the entire system pretty much needs overhauling, or it needs reworks to the point where it's actually efficient and it's decent for money as well. Because we can pull in money a lot faster using a hand jigger than what we do with net fishing. And yeah, these are set at like 10 to 13%. And we targeted haddock. I would normally go for cod, or I'd go for halibut or something like that. So I don't know how much better, if any better, the net fishing would get with a better habitat. But the long line will get a lot better than what we managed to see. So yeah, when it comes to net fishing and long line and which one makes better money, there's no question about it. Long line is the way to go. And the best thing is, long line is available from tier 1 boats. Net fishing, you have to be tier 2 or above. But I thought it'd be cool to do a little comparison between the two fishing types. As far as I'm aware, the developers have plans to add in crab fishing, trawling. So depending on when you're seeing this, there might be other ways to do your fishing. But in the game's current state, longline fishing is by far the best method. And on that note, we are going to leave that video there. I will see you guys in the next one.